Hello, Tiffany here with Cards Crafty Creations. Today's project is for Pajama Crafter Stamp, and I am going to be using the Flower Child stamp set. So that came out, I believe it was last month, and it's a little girl that looks like a flower child. As soon as I saw the stamp, I knew I wanted to watercolor it, so I used my Zig clean clear water brush markers and painted her on some watercolor paper. I went with kind of a softer but vibrant color palette because I thought that would just go really well with a whole variety of colors, like with pinks and greens and oranges and stuff. And when I was trying to decide what project I wanted to do, I had really wanted to use like some tie-dye fabric as my background. And I thought that I had an old tie-dye shirt that I'd been, carrying around for however many years, but I couldn't find it. So in that case, I was like, oh, I should put like some jean material on here, but I didn't want to cut up any of my jeans, and I didn't want to go to the thrift store and get jeans, and I was like, it would be really cute. But then I remembered I had this in my stash, and I have had it forever. I have no clue when and where I got it, but it is actually jeans. It is a jean material with yellow pinstriping. It is backed on paper, so it's not like it was just like flimsy jeans. Now I think I would have liked to, I think in the end still have used actual blue jeans, but I think it still came out good. And I wanted it to fray, but since it was on the paper backing, it wasn't going to fray. So I got my paper frayer out of my stash and just kind of rough up some of those edges. A lot of the stuff, like embellishments, are coming from my stash, and it's really just to enhance the surrounding, kind of tie in the idea of the flower child little girl, and use lots of flowers and doilies and stuff like that. I don't know what this is. I've had this kind of material in my stash forever. It works really good with, a Halloween type theme, but I have this in white. So I thought it would kind of like emphasize maybe like a lace shirt like you would have had during that era or something like that. So I kind of use that as like a foundation for everything to build up onto. I did decide that, oh yeah, I got sidetracked. I have these, they're like wood beads, flat back beads, and I've had these in my stash forever too, so I thought that would just be really nice, kind of another texture and element since it's wood. And then we got the cork board, and then we got the jeans, and later on we'll have a doily, so lots of texture going on with this. But I'm gonna glue those down. I did decide that one in each corner was sufficient. I didn't need to add any more. I think it just looked too cluttered, so it's kind of like, almost kind of like this is a pin board, like a cork board you would pin things to. So that's kind of what the vibe it gives me here. And so I put those on. Most of the project I'm using fabric tack glue for everything because it is mostly all fabric. Fabric tack actually works on a lot of different materials, so I use it obviously for fabric, but for other things too, just because it's quick drying versus using like E6000. I do use a lot of hot glue also, but sometimes I'm lazy like I was here and I didn't want to get the hot glue gun out, so it kind of makes a little bit of a mess because it runs constantly. So anyway, I found this word for my stash, and I thought for her being a flower or a flower child that the word love was sufficient and perfect for this project. And so I just used some acrylic markers to color it. I do add in another shade of color to give it kind of an ombre look. And then I do some white line work on it, kind of like I would do with our white gel pens, but it was a white acrylic marker. So you'll see that here after I'm finished. And then I decided I wanted to have a peace sign on here, which I don't have a peace sign. It's not something I have in my stash every day. So I went and found some colored wire that I've had also forever. I'm just gonna preface that all of my craft supplies are forever craft supplies. Like, I have had them forever, and I don't get rid of anything because you never know when you're gonna need it. So I made the peace sign with some colored wire that I got a long time ago. It took me actually quite a while. You wouldn't, think so, but it's got quite a few layers of wire on it to make it work, and then trying to keep its shape, and it was a task in itself, but I thought it was the perfect thing to go with her. So this whole kind of project is based around her kind of hippie-like flower child concept. Doily also, because I feel like that era of time also had a lot of lace and knitted clothing, so I thought this was perfect. Also, it happened to be orange, which matches the flower color that I did with her bandana which it's probably a flower ring. If you remember as a kid, like out in the field, when you had to be out in the field in school, and they had those, like, they're probably weeds, those little white ones. For me, I'm an 80s child, so I remember sitting out there and then like making little flower rings and flower bracelets and stuff with those things out at recess, or anytime you were out in the field and they had those little white ones. So anyway, back to the project. I'm going to glue that down, and I'm going to also adhere down the peace sign with the same glue, because like I said, I was being a little bit lazy. And then I'm going to add some foam adhesive to her, a couple layers, because I want her to kind of stand up some and be a little more prominent. So I did add quite a few. And if you've watched some of my other videos, I like to use more like my chipboard scraps, but I didn't here. I used foam, and there's nothing wrong with that. It worked a-okay. I just layered up a couple of them to give me the dimension that I need. I also had to pop her up kind of a bit higher because of the doily that she was going to kind of hang over onto. So, but overall, I think I used 2 layers on most areas. And then we all have flowers in our stash, and I just went through and picked out some that kind of matched the headband that we got going on there. I used, and I don't know, I don't know why I brought pink in, because it's really purple, orange, and yellow. Those are all complementary colors to each other. So anyway, we're adding, pink matches the love word, that's why. So I got a pink flower, we got the peace sign that I made with the wire. It never, I think that this wire came from, it was a pack of several colors, and I think it was for you to make words with back in the day, like way back in the day. I'm thinking like 2005 back in the day. So anyways, I'm just gonna finish adhering some more flowers on here. I actually have some resin flowers that I thought went really cute also. So you got lots of textures on here. You got the cork board, you got the jean material, you got the doily, the wood beads, and then the acrylic flower pieces as well, and paper obviously. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, if you would please like and subscribe, and leave any comments below that you may have or questions about the project. And head on over to the Pajama Crafter Stamps website for stamps like this and many more. They do have a blog that shows a lot of other projects using this stamp set, as well along with all the other stamp sets they have, and same for their YouTube channel. So lots of inspiration out there for all the stamp sets that Pajama Crafter offers. So anyway, I'm going to add on the sentiment, and once I've got that squared away, that pretty much wraps up this project. So I hope you enjoy, and I will see you on the next video. All right, bye.